Okay, so Tom, so now we're going to make our call to the tower for takeoff. What you're going to do is we're going to make sure we're on tower, which we are. And you're going to say Gillespie Tower, Sport Cruiser 224, Sierra Charlie, holding short of 27 right, for right, close traffic.
Okay. Gillespie Tower, Sport Cruiser 224, Sierra Charlie, holding short of 27 right, for right, close traffic, please.
Holding short, runway 27 right. Say again.
Sport Cruiser 224, Sierra Charlie, holding short of 27 right, for right, close traffic, please.
224 Sierra Charlie, Gillespie Tower, make right to traffic, runway 27 right, clear for takeoff.
224 Sierra Charlie, right, close traffic, clear for takeoff, thank you.
You want to make sure there's no traffic on final, no traffic on short approach, no traffic on the runway, and just kind of keep an eye on everyone who is out here.
Okay.
Now what you're going to do, you're going to come out here and line up on the runway, right on the center line.
I'm going to move my feet to the ground.
Yeah, once you kind of get going here, just smoothly add the power in and you're going to bring your feet down off of the brakes, okay? So smoothly, just full throttle, keep it on the center line. And then we're going to rotate about 40 knots.
Turkey 17 November, if you want to keep your downwind outside of that Cherokee, I can give you the right.
And then climb out. We're going to climb out about 65 knots. Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
Now, if we did have A flaps in right now, would be the time that we pull out once we're kind of clear the runway here and we're climbing. And then go ahead, climb out 65 knots, 65, 70.
Traffic, frequency change approved.
We can kind of, once we get away from the ground a little bit here and now, we can kind of go ahead and switch to a little more of a cruise climb, about 75 knots. Kind of helps us get going and gives us a little better visibility out in front of us.
Okay. Report lakeside, 581.
Okay, Tom, so we're going to go ahead and now turn crosswind. Make sure we're looking for traffic the whole time. Pattern altitude on the right runway here is 1,600 feet. Alright, then go ahead and level it off here. Fly a second. Now we can go ahead and turn for downwind. Now we're downwind, we're just going to real quick do pattern entry landing checklist, pretty much before landing checklist. Fuel selectors on the proper tank. We're going to back the throttle off when we're on downwind. Fuel pump we're going to leave on, carb heat as needed. We'll back the engine off to about 3,500 RPM. Bring it into the wide arc before we add A flaps. And then we're going to go, I'll talk you through the speeds as we get down there.
Okay.
Now, being the numbers, usually we'll call in if they haven't called us. Just tell them that we're downwind, kind of reminding them that we're here and wanting to land or do a touch and go. So I'll go ahead and do that now.
4 Sierra Charlie, runway 27 right, clear touch and go.
224 Sierra Charlie, clear touch and go. 27 right.
All right, there's 1,600 feet. Go ahead and nose it down, level it off. Go pitch, power, trim. Power back to around 4,500 RPM. And make sure you have a reference point out in front of here so we don't drift around once we kind of lose sight of the runway here. So on the right runway down here, since it does take us a little farther away from the airport, I like to go ahead and wait till we're about east before we add A flaps in. So right here, just before we turn base, go ahead and back the throttle off to about 3,800. You see it's real nice. You slow it down into the wide arc. You can add 10 degrees of flaps. And go ahead and make your turn to base.
Wind 28010. Aircamp 581, follow light sport, turning base 1,600.
Start falling down. You want to start your descent now, so we should be about 75 knots with 10 degrees of flaps in. Alright, then mid-base here, you're going to go ahead and add 20 degrees of flaps. You hold it for about 3 seconds. It gives you about 10 degrees of movement. We're going for about 70 knots. We're looking a little bit high, so go ahead and pull a little bit of power back. And we're going to adjust our altitude with the power. Okay. So if we're looking a little high, we pull power back. If we're looking a little low, we add power in, and we keep our speeds the same. All right, let's go ahead and turn final, and we'll nicely get it lined up with the runway. As we get a little closer, maybe probably about a little less than a mile from the runway there, we're going to go ahead and add full flaps.
Ground, good day, second.
So what you want to do now is use the rudders to keep the airplane aligned with the runway, and use the aileron yoke to control your drift. So then you're kind of naturally setting up in case there's some sort of crosswind down there. All right, let's go ahead and add full flaps. All right, flaps are full down, and we're going for 65 knots, okay? Alright, just real smoothly, you're doing a good job controlling your altitude with the throttle. You can see the airplane's naturally kind of going, like I say, if you didn't touch anything, where would the airplane touch the ground? And so kind of you can adjust that movement point by adding power or subtracting power. You know, if you're looking a little short, you add a little power in, and you make sure you're on your speeds. Now, that's kind of the most critical thing. It's kind of the most dangerous time. We're the slowest, we're the lowest to the ground. You want to make sure you're on your speeds. We come down the runway, just smoothly keep flying it down there. And as you get about 10 feet above the ground, smoothly bring it to about level. And just keep easing back on the stick. There you go. The airplane just touched down real nice. Get back on the center line over there. We'll bring the flaps up to 0 degrees. And then we'll add full throttle.